We are going to get started here. We're just going to talk through the last part of Mugsy. Let me share my screen real quick. I think this is the correct thing. Okay. Go ahead and join up on my stream. Good, good. I think Caligon just joined us. Is that right?
Yeah, Thea's joining up too.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, everybody hit up my stream.
Hang on. Okay, I dragged you down. Are you here?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I save you.
Join my stream. All right. So,
And you got Thea? Did you check in?
oh,
I'm here.
Calthea.
Yeah.
Hello.
And Caligon. And LK.
Wait, are we covering what's his name?
You didn't give yourself attendance.
I don't think I'm going to go over it yet. I'll probably start Gallywix next week. Or we're just
Okay.
gonna
Oh man.
we're just gonna finish up the mugger. Unless we just got a ton of classroom energy, I can start in and give you guys a teaser on Gallywix at the end. But main goal is just to get through Mugsy, and that we should be able to do that really quick. Okay, so yeah, Mugsy phase 2, we're really solid on the first phase as far as knowledge. I think we know everything that we need to do. So I just wanted to start with phase 2. What this depicts is the first charge, and then the blue beam here is the rotation that he does with the red out one side and the blue out the other. And then this teal beam down the middle is the cutter beam that slowly rotates around the room. It rotates anti-clockwise, very slowly around the room throughout the rest of the fight. It's there, throughout the rest of the fight. So we'll be dealing with it throughout all of phase 2 and the final part of the fight. So the boss still does 3 charges and then spins and does left, right, left spins. Or at least we dodge around to the left, then the right, then the left. If you're curious on how the charge logic works, it's different on Mythic than it is on Heroic. So it doesn't actually matter where we are. We don't bait this charge. What happens is pretend that this blue line is the cutter line. This white line is like an imaginary line that divides the half of the room into quadrants. So basically, don't get too caught up in the weeds on this text, but basically if the boss is in this quadrant, he will charge to the center of the opposite quadrant on the same side of the cutter beam. He'll never cross the cutter beam, but he'll charge into the middle of the opposite quadrant. So if the boss is over here, he'll charge over here. So like you see in this depiction, since he's on this quadrant of the room, he's going to charge to the center of the next quadrant over here. And likewise, he will charge back this way. I actually don't want to do what is depicted in this outline here. I actually just want to keep the boss here and charge him back this way. So that's actually what'll end up happening. So what you guys need to know is that the important part about this is basically we always want to play on the side of the fire, like near the skull and the fire side, because first charge, right, goes around to the left. So if you're playing here near the fire, you'll already be there to the left. Then when he charges again, if you're playing near the fire, you can already go around to the right. You never really want to be on this outside edge during or after the charge, right? So ranged especially want to play close towards this inside and then rotate around. Special bonus points to mages and tanks if you guys want to play on the opposite side of the boss, so there's less swirlies to dodge. That's bonus points. That'd be easier for you guys and easier for the raid. And also range dotters, you can dot these up. Since we made these vulnerable, you can definitely get some dots out on this and nuke this down, and that'll be a little less damage in the intermission. And that's extra credit for you guys as well. It's not required, however, it will be, those two little tips will be helpful.
That's fine if they die a little early.
Yeah, while we're dodging around and stuff, if they do die, that's pretty good. Okay, so then we do the last charge. It should be up here. Notice how the cutter beam's kind of slowly rotating around. We're still playing towards the fire side, and we rotate around the boss. And then we are in phase 2. So lust has happened and everything, and it should be wearing down. Now we get a new set of mines. I think ideally we drag the boss a little bit further here, but yeah, we're gonna do this is a 6 set of mines. So the second one that we're doing, that we're struggling with a bit, is 5. This one is 6. However, we're only popping 4 of them. So Yerpul will be popping the first one, and then Abelard Bubble pop 3, and then there's 2 that we will leave up. So you want to just bait these really nice under the boss, because this cutter beam is coming around. If we played it back here and we baited mines back on the dirt side or the clay, then we'd be in trouble, right? So the cutter beam would cut us off, and then maybe some of the pops and soaks would be on the opposite side of the beam, really bad. So we want to play over forward here on the metal side. This portion here, by the way, because this fire is actually a little bit bigger, this portion of the fight may be why I want to scooch everything up a little bit, because right now the way that we're dropping it is the cages are out here, and the fire's out here, kind of, if you can imagine that, and that's squishing us a bit with space. So I'm thinking if we can push these more against the wall at the very beginning, actually, of course, still leaving a spot here for Yerpul to get out, it'll actually be better for us during this overlap right here with the mines. But just something I'm thinking about. May not be too much of an issue, but it's an option that we have. Okay, so we do the pops and the soaks, all but 2, and we leave the 2 up. We're trying to pop them and be on the metal side as much as we can. So yeah, boss and rage should be over this way. Now we have frost boots coming up, and these 2 mines. So if you get frost boots, you just dip into the fire here in the middle and LOS behind these guys. You don't need 2 mines in between you and the other guy. So just know that. You can actually just have 1 in between you. It's just a little scary. As we leave, Bannabear, I'd like you to root these. So after we've popped all 4 and we've cleared it, just go ahead and root these last 2. We are going to CC them until they go CC immune and they enrage, which is 63 seconds from the time that they spawn. Believe it or not, as weird of a number as that is. But we won't have to deal with them until later, which we have the hardest mechanic coming up here in a second. So what we do is after we pop the mines and soak them, we clear them and the frost boots go out. Even while they're dealing with frost boots, we start moving the boss down, right? Start moving the boss down towards these markers and get, close to the cutter beam as we can. We want to start getting ahead because we have some big mechanics coming up. So we're preparing for that. So jails, there will be 4 jails here. I probably want to move all of this in a little bit, but they'll be on the marks. I'll mark it in raid. This is kind of the alleyway between green and blue that I want the tank to get punted through and drop the gold back here after we do the jails. But jails are assigned as suchly. So basically the logic here is I've got some of the slowest people in green so that they can not fall behind as this cutter beam comes back around. They're already ahead, but that does mean that they have to work harder at the beginning of the jails. So just be aware if you're War or Buckus now, who's in here, and Swabbles and myself, you will just book it to green after we deal with the frost boots, because jails are coming up and you want to be near here. Now these are assigned, however, depending on RNG and who gets picked for the jails and where they are assigned to drop their jail, you may be moved around a little bit. So it's, you can pre-position and get kind of close, but be aware that it may switch you up. Now, the way that this is delineated, since there are 4, right, instead of 3 like there were here, this one's pretty easy, right? You've got left, mid, and right. But here, since there are 4, there's no mid. So the way that this is depicted, and it will tell you where you're going, is as you're, you know, standing in the middle of the room looking outward. These 2 in the middle are called front. So this is front left, and this is front right. So moon is front right, square is front left, and then these are back. So X and triangle are back. So this is back right and back left. So you don't want to get it twisted. Okay, and so while all of these jails are going on, you'll notice that there are some names that are not in here. So this is Dirt, Ziddy, and Caligon. There is an immune soak that happens, and we just place it here, overlap it with some of the jails, the walls. It actually does break the jail walls, but just be careful not to get hit if you're in the jail. So might even want to just move this out a little bit so that it's not that dangerous. The reason that everybody soaks here in the middle on the second soak is so that you're not eligible. All of these people that are in the jails are not, they all soaked here. All of them always soak here. Even if you did this first one, you soak the second one too. All of these people soak here because you won't get picked for this, and this makes this a lot cleaner, right? So this will bait this on Dirt, Caligon, or Ziddy, and then the tanks as well will soak this outside of the jails. Now, most of the time what happens, because even if you're having a good pull and everybody soaks this in the middle, if you have some random death in the intermission, it clears their debuff, and so then they become eligible again, and so you can get RNG'd on. So there are ways in which you can get selected in the jail. If you do, it's not a wipe. It's just less clean. So let's say that Spoomy up here, you know, he did his good job, he soaked, but, you know, GG, he got killed, and it selected him. He got unlucky, and it selected him in the jail. So he's got this soak. Your rule of thumb, if anybody gets the jail or the soak in the jail, is you take it out to the corner of the jail that's closest to the boss. And this will create a little bit of space for the other people that don't want to soak it. And then the immunity people in the tanks can soak it, and it'll break your walls, and that's fine. But that's how you would do that. The only good part about this overlap, you know, because it's hard either way, is that there are no frost boots to deal with afterwards. So you can kill and get knocked out in whatever direction you want, really. There will be a frontal from the boss over here between blue and green. So, you know, try not to get knocked right in front of the boss. But basically anywhere else you want to get knocked and get out of your jail, and you can get out anytime you want. You don't have to hold damage. You don't have to synchronize your watches with everybody. You don't need to do any of that for this one. Just break it, get the kicks on pay respect, and move on. Okay, that was a lot of information. Any questions about this overlap and how it's set up and why?
Negative.
Okay, if we can make it through this part, it's basically dead at this point. When you do these jails, it's like it should be sub 10%, and there's not too many other mechanics. But I'll tell you what the plan is for the rest of it then. The rest of it,
Or
so
am I in a mute soak there?
Nope, you're right here. Sorry, you're on the X.
Oh, I can see it.
Vex on the X. Yep. Yeah, our immune soakers stay the same. Yeah, it's Dirt, Caligon, and City throughout. Okay, so afterwards we pull the boss past the shocker. If we didn't kill them earlier or break them, there will be 2 sets of them. And these bombs are now enraged and they're coming out. So we'll deal with these when they come to us. However, we will want to frontal these last ones. So drag the boss, you know, just next to the shockers over here, and we'll frontal this way, past here. and that's easy peasy, no big deal. We've done that all the time. Now fire browse is assigned to pop these mines. So it will knock you into the air, but we can turtle and pop these last two. Swabbles, you can be back up on that just in case for whatever reason he can't do it, or if we have a death or whatever. We can still get these pops. And range, you want to look alive because we want to get these soaks, but hopefully we can pop them as they get a little bit further away from this cutter beam, because if we pop them close to the cutter beam, we can get dropped soaks on the opposite side that are almost impossible to get. So it's important that we wait and get that pop there, these last two. Sometimes you can kill the boss before these get to you, so you can just like kind of kite them out and just tunnel the boss. We'll have to see what the HP is when we get there, but last time I checked, it looks like we're absolutely slamming the boss in this last phase. If we get a clean transition, we might be able to beat this. So yeah, we get these soaks on these last two mines that Banna rooted and we were dealing with. We did the frost boots earlier on them. And then we stack up on the boss to bait the last set of mines, and the boss spawns, I don't know how many it is, but it's like 15 mines. It's like stupid. It's a ridiculous amount of mines. So we want to stack up on the boss and bait them here, and we basically stutter step as just the legion of mines spews out of the boss. And so we put them all here basically and move the boss ahead, and then we get frost boots. If we get to this position, your only job is don't pop a mine. That's the only thing that matters here. If we don't pop a mine, we live. So don't worry too much. If you have to choose between you dying to the frost boots or popping a mine, you die to the frost boots. Do not pop this mine and wipe the raid. Like a single mine pops wipes us. So you can get, clear your frost boots and get behind LOS. Just be a little bit careful. Give it some wide berth, because these are a little bit buggy. Sometimes their animation will be behind here, which is actually true as well of these ones for Firebrows, where he might actually have to get way behind them to pop them, because they actually won't pop when you walk over them. This bug is still not fixed from the Race to World First, so you actually have to somehow they're desynced from like what their visual is and their model is to where they actually are, but hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Hopefully we push it beforehand, or we just try to deal with it the best that we can. But anyway, in case that type of nonsense is happening here, give them a wide berth behind with your frost boots, and that's fine. You can LOS them back here, just don't pop them. And then we basically kill the boss right here as he stands, or he kills us. He has a channel that will wipe us if we don't kill him fast enough. And that's it. So you got the charges, no big deal, right? Dodging around to the fire side. You've got mines baited on the metal over here. Once mines come out, we leave 2 up that Banna roots, and we do frost boots behind here. So we clear frost boots real quick on this fire, and then do that, and then we set up for third jails, the quad jails here. And the boss is pretty much dead. So it's like mines, boots, quad jails. There's an immunity soak, frontal, and then maybe we'll pop these mines. Don't know for sure. And maybe we'll bait these, but don't know. We'll have to see when we get there. But that's it. Banna, do you have a TV on or something in the background? It sounds like I hear somebody talking. She totally does.
She wants to get marked here, so she put a radio near her mic. It just wasn't close enough.
Those attendance points are very valuable. Yeah, it's worth it to fake it. All right, cool. Did anybody have any questions about Mug Z and how we're gonna finish that biatch up? Yeah, I'm hoping that Mazza can kind of step in seamlessly. He's been watching our prog. I've sent him recordings. He's got like 9 hours of recordings to watch.
He fast forwarded through half of it for sure.
Yeah. But he should be relatively caught up. So I'm hoping that we can pick it up. It's possible that we kill it this week. So that would be absolutely bananas if we do that. But I think if we show up locked in, then this boss doesn't stand a chance against us.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's just a little over 20 minutes. I think we'll just call it there, and we'll move into Gallywix. I probably will do Gallywix in 2 parts, maybe 3, depending on how the discussion goes for PTRU. But we only got like 2 more left before the end of the tier, basically 2, maybe 3.
Nice.
Thanks for all of you guys who are attending and for your attention, and we'll see you in the world.